Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Speak. We are in assignment number 11. Now, assignment number 11 has a lot of parts. It's a little bit longer, but not crazy. They're actually shorter parts, so don't freak out. It's not going to be too terribly long. Same assignment. You're going to answer your questions, do your vocab, make your sentences, do your open-ended essay, linking it to the novel and to your life, and then you're done. Now, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts that we will read in assignment number 11 are Model Citizen, Death by Algebra, Word Work, Naming the Monster. That sounds like an important one. Rent round 3, Can It, Dark Art, and My Report Card. So she's going to give herself another report card. I'm guessing this is for marking period number 2. Just want to point out at the end of assignment number 10 was very important. I'm going to read it again. She said the doctor, remember she passed out because she was pinning down the froggy, or when David pinned down the frog in science class when they were dissecting the frog. And when he held down the arms and the legs and pinned them down, she started to feel faint, and she actually did faint, and she actually smelled the dirt, the leaves in her hair. She felt the cut that happened to her that night. Clearly something, this she's remembering from the night of the party. Hold on, I'm going back to that spot right there. This is really important because she says, when she goes to the nurse calls her, right? She goes to the doctor, and the doctor looks in the head in her eyes with the light, and she says, can she read the thoughts hidden there? If she can, what will she do? Call the cops? Send me to the nut house? Do I want her to? I just want to sleep. The whole point of not talking about it, of silencing the memory, is to make it go away, and it won't. I'll need brain surgery to cut it out of my head. So again, she's not talking because she's hoping that this traumatic event will just disappear from her life, but it's actually quite the opposite. Not talking about it is actually making it worse for her. She's reliving it on a daily and a nightly basis, and it's starting to drive her crazy. She needs to talk about it with somebody very soon. Her parents need to talk to her. OMG. So let's go. Model Citizen. Heather has landed a modeling job at a department store in the mall. She said she was buying socks with her mother the week after her braces came off, and some lady asked if she modeled. I suspect the fact that her dad works for the mall management company had something to do with it. The modeling gig is paying off in major Martha points. They all want to be Heather's new best friend. But she asked me to go with her for the bathing suit shoot. I don't think she's afraid to screw up in front of them. I think she's afraid to screw up in front of them. Heather's mother drives us. She asks if I want to be a model. Heather says I'm too shy. I look at her mother's eyes watching me in the rearview mirror and hide my mouth with my fingers. Now, why is Melinda hiding her mouth with her fingers? Because remember, her mouth is all scabby from chewing on her lips all the time. Now, she doesn't like the way it looks. She hides it from people when they look at her. So why does she do it? Because she can't stop. It's a form of her trauma. I look at her mother's eyes watching me in the rearview mirror and hide my mouth with my fingers. The scabs on my lips are especially gross in that little rectangle mirror. Of course I want to be a model. I want to paint my eyelids gold. I saw that on a magazine cover and it looked amazing. Turn the model into a sexy alien that everyone would look at but nobody dared touch. So look at her. She wants to be a normal girl. She wants to dress up and look good and feel good and be attractive, but she can't. Why? Because of what happened. I like cheeseburgers too much to be a model. Heather stopped eating and complains about fluid retention. She should worry more about brain retention, the way she's dieting away her gray matter. At last check, she was wearing a size 1.5, and she just has to get down to a size 1. The photo shoot is in a building cold enough to store ice. Heather looks like our Thanksgiving turkey wearing a blue bikini. Her goosebumps are bigger than her boobs. I'm shivering, and I'm wearing my ski jacket and a wool sweater. The photographer turns up the radio and starts bossing the girls around. Heather totally gets into it. She throws her head back, stares at the camera, flashes her teeth. The photographer keeps saying, sexy, sexy, very cute, look this way. Sexy, think beach, think boys. It creeps me out. Heather sneezes in the middle of a group pose and her mother runs in with tissues. It must be catching. My throat is killing me. I want a nap. I don't buy the gold eyeshadow, but I do pick up a bottle of Black Death nail polish. It's gloomy with squiggly lines of red in it. My nails are bitten to the bleeding point, so it will look natural. Look at that. Another thing that she's doing to herself. She's biting her nails till they bleed. Now, people bite their nails. Oftentimes, it's a habit. It's a bad habit that people have, but sometimes it's indicative of a problem that person has, very much stress, so they bite it when they get stressed. She bites her nails till they bleed. That's how stressed she is. I need to get a shirt that matches. Something in tubercular gray. Death by algebra. Mr. Stetman won't give up. He is determined to prove once and for all that algebra is something we will use for the rest of our lives. If he succeeds, I think they should give him Teacher of the Century award and a 2-week vacation in Hawaii, all expenses paid. He comes to class each day with a new real-life application. It is sweet that he cares enough about algebra and his students to want to bring them together. He's like a grandfather who wants to fix up two young kids that he just knows would make a great couple, where the kids have nothing in common and they hate each other. Today's application has something to do with buying guppies at the pet store and calculating how many guppies you could breed if you wanted to go into the guppy business. Once the guppies turn into X's and Y's, my contacts fob. Class ends in a debate between the animal rights activists who say it is immoral to own fish and the red-blooded capitalists who know lots of better ways to make money than investing in fish that eat their young. I watch the snow falling outside. Word work. Hair Woman is torturing us with essays. Do English teachers spend their vacations dreaming up these things? I'll answer that sometimes. The first essay this semester was a dud. Why America is Great in 500 words. She gave us 3 weeks. Only Tiffany Wilson turned it in on time. But the assignment was not a complete failure. Hair Woman runs the drama club, and she recruited several new members based on their performances as to why they needed an extension. She has a warped sense of humor as well as a demented beautician. The next essay was supposed to be fictional, the best lost homework excuse ever in 500 words. We had one night. No one was late. But now Hair Woman's on a roll. How I would change high school. Lower the driving age to 14. The perfect job. Her topics are fun, but she keeps cranking them out one after the next. First, she broke our spirits by overwhelming us with work we couldn't really complain about because the topics are the kind of things we talk about all the time. Recently, she started sneaking grammar into the classroom. One day, we worked on verb tenses. I surfed the net. I surfed the net. I was surfing the net. Then lively adjectives. Does it not sound better to say Nicole's old lacrosse stick hit me on the head or Nicole's barf yellow gnarled bloodstained lacrosse stick hit me on the head? She even tried to teach us the difference between active voice, I snarfed the Oreos, and passive voice, the Oreos got snarfed. Words are hard work. I hope they send Hair Woman to a conference or something. I'm ready to help pay for a sub. Naming the monster. Okay, guys and gals, I'm going to say it right now. Pay close attention to this section, naming the monster. The monster is the person that she's been freaking out about and seeing around the school for the entire year. Something to do with that party, I bet. Let's listen. I work on Heather's posters for 2 weeks. I try to draw them in the art room, but too many people watch me. It is quiet in my closet, and the markers smell good. I could stay here forever. Briga can save a life. Look at that. She says she could stay in a dark and dirty closet forever. Why? Because there she's alone and nobody looks at her and notices the problems with the way she looks, and she feels safer there that nobody can hurt her in this room. Briga can save a life. Heather told me to be direct. It is the only way to get what we want. I draw posters of basketball players shooting cans through a hoop. They demonstrate very good form. Heather has another modeling job, tennis clothes, I think. She asked me to hang the posters for her. I actually don't mind. It's nice having kids see me do something good. Might help my reputation. I'm hanging a poster outside the metal shop room when it creeps up. Little flecks of metal slice through my vein. It whispers to me, fresh meat. That's what it whispers. It found me again. I thought I could ignore it. There are 400 other freshmen in here, 200 female, plus all the other grades. But he whispers to me. I can smell him over the noise of the metal shop, and I drop my poster and the masking tape, and I want to throw up, and I can smell him, and I run, and he remembers, and he knows. I'm going to say that again. I can smell him over the noise of the metal shop, and I drop my poster and the masking tape, and I want to throw up, and I can smell him, and I run, and he remembers, and he knows. What does he remember? What does he know? He whispers in my ear. Now, question. This boy, this student, his name is, we don't know his name yet, but she calls him it. Does he know that he's terrorizing her and torturing her? And the answer is, of course. That's why he's doing it. I lie to Heather about the masking tape, and I say I put it in the supply box. I put it back in the supply box. We're at round 3. My guidance counselor calls mom at the store to pave the way for my report card. Must remember to send her a thank you note. By the time we eat dinner, the battle is roaring at full pitch. Grades, blah, blah, blah. Attitude, blah, blah, blah. Help around the house, blah, blah, blah. Not a kid anymore, blah, blah, blah. Now, the fact that she's saying blah, 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 the parents aren't, but Melinda is, because she's not even listening to them. Not only does she not talk to them, she doesn't even listen. I watched the eruptions. Mount Dad, long dormant, now considered armed and dangerous. Mount St. Mom, oozing lava, spitting flame. Warn the villagers to run into the sea. Behind my eyes, I conjugate irregular Spanish verbs. A minor blizzard blows outside. The weather lady says it's a lake effect storm. The wind from Canada sucks up water from Lake Ontario, runs it through the freeze machine, and dumps it on Syracuse. I can feel the wind fighting to break through our storm windows. I want the snow to bury our house. Look at that. She wants to be buried in her house. Why? I don't know. To kill her? Maybe, but I don't think that's it. I think it's so that she can be in a place that nobody can find her and she feels even safer then. Away from everybody, specifically away from it. They keep asking questions like, what's wrong with you? And do you think this is cute? How can I answer? Now, when they say, what's wrong with you? Do they mean that in the nice way? Like, honey, what's wrong? Tell us. Or what's wrong with you? Because really, it's just the tone can change everything, right? And do you think this is cute? How can I answer? I don't have to. They don't want to hear anything I have to say. Look at that. They don't want to hear anything I have to say. So why are they asking her questions? They don't want to hear because they don't want to understand, because they don't want to get too deep involved. That's insane, by the way. When you have children, hopefully you'd want to know about everything, especially their problems. I mean, you want to know about their happiness too and their good things, but their problems, forget about it. Of course you want to know. You want to help them. You want to fix it. They don't want to hear anything I have to say. They ground me until the second coming. I have to come straight home after school unless mom arranges for me to meet with a teacher. I can't go to Heather's. They're going to disconnect the cable. Don't think they'll follow through on that one. I do my homework and show it to them like a good little girl. When they send me to bed, I write a runaway note and leave it on my desk. Mom finds me sleeping in the bedroom closet. She hands me a pillow and closes the door again. No more blah blahs. So wait a minute, stop. She writes a runaway note and mom doesn't say anything about it. Mom finds her sleeping in a bedroom closet and she doesn't say anything about it. She gives her a pillow rather than, honey, what's wrong? Why are you hiding in the closet? What are you afraid of? How about this? I open up a paper clip and scratch it across the inside of my left wrist. Pitiful. If a suicide attempt is a cry for help, then what is this? A whimper, a peep? I draw Linda window cracks of blood, etching line after line until it stops hurting. It looks like I arm wrestled a rose bush. So she draws fake lines on her arm to make it look like she's trying to kill herself. And when her mom sees it, instead of like, oh my God, Melinda, what's wrong? What are you doing? Talk to me. Mom sees the wrist at breakfast. Mom, I don't have time for this, Melinda. Me. She says suicide is for cowards. This is an ugly, nasty mom side. She bought a book about it. Tough love, sour sugar, barbed velvet, silent talk. She leaves the book on the back of the toilet to educate me. She has figured out that I don't say too much. It bugs her. So it makes her mad that her daughter doesn't talk, but notice she doesn't have a talk with her daughter about it. She leaves. She says she's too busy. I don't have time for this, Melinda. Her kid is talking about suicide possibly, and her mom says she doesn't have time for her. Can it? Lunch with Heather starts cold. Since winter break, she's been sitting at the fringe of the Martha table, and I eat on the other side of her. I can tell something is up as soon as I walk in. All the Marthas are wearing matching outfits, navy corduroy miniskirts, striped tops, and clear plastic purses. They must have gone shopping together. Heather doesn't match. They hadn't invited her. She's too cool to be nervous about this. I'm nervous for her. I take an enormous bite of my PBJ and try not to choke. They wait until she has a mouthful of cottage cheese. Saban puts a can of beets on the table. Saban, what's this? Heather, swallowing. It's a can of beets. Saban, no duh. But we found an entire bag of beets in the collection closet. They must have come from you. Heather, a neighbor gave them to me. They're beets. People eat them. What's the problem? The rest of the Marthas sigh on cue. Apparently, beets are not good enough. Real Marthas only collect food that they like to eat, like cranberry sauce, dolphin-safe tuna, or baby peas. I can see Heather dig her nails into her palms under the table. The peanut butter molds to the roof of my mouth like a retainer. Saban, that's not all. Your numbers are abysmal. Heather, what numbers? Saban, your can quota. You aren't carrying your weight. You aren't contributing. Heather, we've only been doing this for a week. I know I'll get more. Emily, it's not just the can quota. Your posters are ridiculous. My little brother could have done a better job. It's no wonder no one wants to help us. You've turned this project into a joke. Emily slides her tray across to Heather. Heather gets up without a word and clears it away. Traitor. She isn't going to stick up for my posters. The peanut butter in my mouth hardens. Saban pokes Emily and looks at the door. Saban, it's him. Andy Evans just walked in. I think he's looking for you, Em. I turn around. They're talking about it. Andy Evans, short, stabby name. Andy Evans, who strolls in carrying a takeout bag from Taco Bell. So now we know who it is. It's Andy Evans. Listen, we'll find out more about him. He offers the cafeteria monitor a burrito. Emily and Saban giggle. Heather returns, her smile back in place, and asks if Andy is as bad as everyone says. Emily blushes the color of canned beets. Saban, it's just a rumor. Emily, fact, he's gorgeous. He's rich. I'm sorry, fact, he's gorgeous. Fact, he's rich. Fact, he's just the itziest bit dangerous. And he called me last night. Saban, rumor, he sleeps with anything. The peanut butter locks my jaws closed. Emily, I don't believe it. Rumors are spread by jealous people. Hi, Andy. Did you bring enough lunch for everyone? It feels like the prince of darkness has swept his cloak over the table. The lights dim. I shiver. Andy stands behind me to flirt with Emily. I lean into the table to stay as far away from him as I can. The table saws me in half. Emily's mouth moves, the fluorescent light glittering on her teeth. The other girl scoots toward Emily to soak up her attractiveness rays. Andy must be talking too. I can feel deep vibrations in my backbone like a thudding speaker. I can't hear the words. Watch what he does. And remember, he knows he tortures her by going near her and whispering in her ear and looking at her. But look at this. He twirls my ponytails in his fingers. So now he's playing with her hair. Why? To let her know that he's there. And he knows and that he knows she knows. But whatever, let's continue. He twirls my ponytails in his fingers. Emily's eyes narrow. I mumble something idiotic and run for the bathroom. I heave lunch into the toilet, then wash my face with the ice water that comes out of the hot faucet. Heather does not come looking for me. So think about that. Just him touching her makes her run and throw up her lunch. That's how upset she is. And when he touches her, boom, she throws up. And notice she runs away from the lunch table, clearly in distress. And Heather doesn't come looking for her. Why? That's not really her friend. Dark art. The cement slag sky hangs above our heads. Which direction is east? It has been so long since I've seen the sun, I can't remember. Turtlenecks creep out of bottom drawers. Turtle faces pull back into winter clothes. We won't see some kids until spring. Mr. Freeman is in trouble, big time. He gave up paperwork when the school board X'd out his supply budget. They've caught up with him. Teachers just handed in the second marking period grades, and Mr. Freeman gave out 210 A's. Someone smelled a rat, probably the office secretary. I wonder if they called him down to principal's office and put this on his permanent record. He has stopped working on his canvas, the painting we all thought was going to be this awesome, earth-shattering piece of art that would be auctioned for $1 million. The art room is cold. Mr. Freeman's face a shade of gray purple. If he wasn't so depressed, I'd ask him what the name of that color is. He just sits on a stool, a blue broken cricket husk. No one talks to him. We blow on our fingers to warm them up and sculpt or draw or paint or sketch or, in my case, carve. I start a new linoleum block. My last tree looked like it had died from some fungal infection. Not the effect I wanted at all. The cold makes the linoleum stiffer than usual. I dig the chisel into the block and push, trying to follow the line of a tree trunk. I follow the line of my thumb instead and gash myself. I swear and stick my thumb in my mouth. Everybody looks at me, so I take it out again. Mr. Freeman hurries over with a box of Kleenex. It isn't a deep cut, and I shake my head when he asks if I want to go to the nurse's office. He washes my chisel off in the sink and puts bleach on it, some sort of AIDS regulation. When it is germ-free and dry, he carries it back toward my table, but stops in front of his canvas. He hasn't finished painting. The bottom right corner is empty. The prisoners' faces are menacing. You can't take your eyes off them. I wouldn't want a painting like that hanging over my couch. It looks like it might come alive at night. Mr. Freeman steps back as if he has just seen something new in his own picture. He slices the canvas with my chisel, ruining it with a long, ripping sound that makes the entire class gasp. My report card. Attitude, D. Lunch, C. Clothes, C-. Social studies, D. Biology, B. English, C-. Spanish, C-. Algebra, C-. Gym, C-. And art, A. So there's still one place she feels comfortable with in that school, and she does well. And notice, she gives herself a D because she knows her attitude is bad. She wants to be better, but she can't stop herself. She can't talk to people. She can't be friendly. She can't trust people. She can't like people. And lunch, she gives herself a C. That's interesting, probably because she's still sitting with Heather right now. Clothes, she gives herself a C-. Why? Because she doesn't really keep very clean clothes. She wears dirty clothes and whatnot. She doesn't try to be attractive. And then the other classes are actual classes that she gives herself. Now that the teachers give her grades for. And notice she's not doing very well. Although she is doing well in biology, that's a B. Why? Because the teacher is nice and treats her nicely. And in art, of course, she's getting an A because the teacher is fantastic and wants to hear what she has to say, cares about her as a human being. He wants to make sure she's healthy and all right. Everybody, excellent job. Please make sure you get everything done for assignment number 11 and have a great day.